acest moment, colegii lui Joel se pregătesc la Boston să ne urmărească. Deci o bună parte a echipei OLPC Foundation va fi alături de noi. Ne vom simți în mediul virtual, în aceeași sală și să sperăm că vom auzi lucruri interesante despre un proiect pe care îl cunoaște toată lumea de câțiva ani buni, un proiect lansat la forumul de la Davos de Nicolas Negroponte, președintele OLPC Foundation. So in a few minutes, the team of OLPC Foundation will be next to us, next in a virtual world. They are in Boston with a difference of 7 hours. And we hope that the information my guest, my wonderful guest from OLPC, Joel Stanley, will deliver will be also important and interesting for the Romanian decision makers. First of all, I would like to offer an image of Joel. So, the very first question for Joel is, when did you touch a computer for the first time?
I would have been 4 years old. My father bought a 386 home, had Windows 3.1 on it. Yeah, that would have been my first computer.
Good. And the laptop, when did you first touch a laptop?
I first touched the laptop at linux.conf.au, an open source conference in Australia in January of this year.
Good. When did you join the OLPC team?
There was a few stages. So I was given an EXO at linux.conf.au, and then when I went back home, I applied for the Google Summer of Code, and was accepted into that. And then they invited me to go over to Boston. I'm from Australia. They invited me to fly from Australia up to Boston and work for them for 3 months for an internship.
You look like being in an exam, which is not the case. You're not in an exam. We are just wondering if you're committed enough to live this moment with us, because this is the first OLPC presentation, public presentation in Romania for maybe the properest, the most proper persons in Romania. They will be those able to implement this project if the decision makers will do this, if will say that. Yes.
So there's no pressure?
No pressure, of course. What is your belief about the early use of information technology by kids?
Sorry, what was that? The what?
Your belief?
On my belief?
Yes, about the early use of information technology by kids. Because there are many concerns about health problems. You know, you put a kid in front of a computer when he is 4, like you were, yeah? Unfortunately, I have glasses, you don't.
I've got contacts.
Ah, you have contacts, okay. Good, so that's a concern.
Yeah. For sure. So you want to be careful.
Be sincere.
But at the same time, I don't think there's a reason to exclude children from technology. If I was kept away from my computer when I was 5, I wouldn't be here now. There's the things I learned as a child that got me to where I am. So everything in moderation, but yeah, I think it's fine that young children should be exposed to
information technology.
Yes.
Good. Is it or is it not dangerous to put them in front of a computer being young and smart?
It's dangerous if you don't want them to learn. It's dangerous if you don't want them to explore and play, because that's exactly what a young child will do. They'll pull it apart. They'll poke at every single aspect of the system they're put in front of. So some might consider that dangerous. I think it's a wonderful thing, the learning experience you go through when you're playing with a computer.
Yeah, but maybe in 15 or 10 years we shall have a whole generation of hackers.
Excellent. No. It depends what you mean by hackers. I consider a hacker to be a person who writes code. Some other people like to call a hacker a person who infiltrates computer systems for their personal gain or something. That's not what a hacker is in my mind.
Good. Maybe it's the time to let you show us what can they practice on these jewels of information technology, which are the OLPC laptops. It's your time.
Thank you. So my name's Stanley. I'm an electrical engineering student from Adelaide, Australia, who's been lucky enough to be sent over to America to work on the OLPC for 3 months. My area of interest is hardware, being an electrical engineer. So while I've been at OLPC, I've been working out how much power the laptops draw. But being in the office, I also learn a lot about every aspect of the system, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So, 1 laptop per child. It's an education project. It wasn't originally about, hey, let's give everyone laptops. It's more about, hey, let's get everyone educated. Let's get all the people in the world who don't have the opportunities we do to give them a step up, to help them to be able to have the same opportunities that everyone else does. So it's based on some principles, and the best way to describe them is these 2 statements I've got up here: learning, and thinking about thinking. You're not trying to drum into children, learn these facts. You're not trying to stand in front of them and tell them this is how you should think. You give them the laptop and they learn about themselves, about everything themselves. They learn how to think, they learn how to solve problems, which I think is a wonderful way to learn. And the other aspect of it is it's per child. So instead of going to school and everyone shuffles into the computer labs and types up something on Word and surfs the internet and makes a PowerPoint presentation, and then goes back and learns about history back in the classroom, you do more of your learning on the laptop, no matter where you are, if it's in the classroom, at home, in the playground, wherever. So that brings us to the laptop. It's called the XO. It's a small laptop compared to what you might be used to, designed for children's hands, small keyboard, obviously, and it's quite strong as well. So when they do testing in Quanta, that's the manufacturer of the laptop, they hold it a metre high and drop it onto cement and it doesn't break, which is a pretty cool feature because I know I drop my things all the time. Also, it's also the right size, so kids are carrying it to school and back every day. You don't want a big chunk 5-kilogram laptop that you have to cart back and forward every day. So they're some of the good features I find. And so it brings us to about how the kids might use the laptops, how they're designed to be used by children in the school, at home, and wherever. It provides a new way to interact with each other. Instead of talking on the telephone, sending text messages, whatever you might be doing these days, it's got these collaboration features, so you can surf the internet together, you can type up a document together, you can chat together. The laptops are equally useful for both play and work. So you can study on them, but then you can go home and play Tetris or Dance Dance Revolution on them. They're also a new form of knowledge. So at the moment, you might go to the library and look at an encyclopedia to learn. These days, lots of people go to Wikipedia and look at Wikipedia to learn. And so that's a new way of learning that will be provided to these children who previously haven't had internet access or haven't had computers to use. They're open, which is a wonderful feature in my opinion. Open source, free software. They run Linux. How many people have heard of Linux? How many people run Linux? Same hands? Okay. So Linux is a free operating system. It's based on the principles that you write the code and put it out in the public forum for everyone to look at, and everyone is free to take that code back and use it for themselves. providing they give their changes back to everyone else. That creates this amazing community of sharing, which makes this wonderful laptop possible. And one of the cool features of having an open laptop is also very serviceable. There's not some document stored in an underground lab off in some foreign country. Everyone knows how to pull apart these laptops. Everyone can replace the motherboard, as I'll show you now with this video. The video shows two young children, an 8-year-old and 10-year-old from Quebec in Canada, who came into the OLPC headquarters and pulled apart the laptop, put it back together by themselves.
My name is Sophie. I live in Boston because I have to test the laptop. I have 8 years old. I have a brother. Her name is Philippe. My name is Philippe. I come here from Quebec to play laptop. And I'm 10 years old. Bonjour, je m'appelle Philippe, je suis venu de Québec pour venir jouer sur les ordinateurs et aussi pour en réparer. J'ai 10 ans. Sophie, je suis venue à Boston pour tester des laptops. J'ai 8 ans. Mon frère s'appelle Philippe et je
There you have it. An 8-year-old can do it, so you should be able to too. So now we'll move on to the technology inside the EXO, an aspect I'm a lot more comfortable talking about because I'm a bit of a geek, hardware geek, so I know lots about it. It's an x86 processor, so it will run the same programs you run on your Linux desktop at home, or your Windows desktop, if they so choose to run it on there. 256 mega RAM, so more than enough RAM for web browsing, watching videos, full screen video on there. And a 1 gigabyte solid state hard drive, so that means no moving parts. So when you drop it, it won't break. It won't wear out quite as quick. It uses a lot less power as well. And so low power is one of its main features as well. Under peak loads, it uses about 6 watts, whereas my laptop sitting there would use about 20, 30, 40 watts under its peak usage. So it's a lot less power, which makes for a battery that will last up to 12 hours, maybe more. So it's got video conferencing features in it as well, microphone, camera, and USB ports on the side. Another major feature, which I like, is it's sunlight readable. I used it to study for my exams last semester. I could sit out in the sun and read the text as well as you read a newspaper, if not better. And then its killer feature is wireless mesh networking. So these little ears on here aren't just for show. They're antenna. And they enable every XO to talk to every other XO. So you don't need an access point. You don't need any infrastructure there. 3 kids can just meet in the classroom, meet in the quadrangle, meet at their house and network together, share files, chat together, whatnot. You don't have to worry about setting it up or buying an access point or whatever. And so the wireless mesh networking enables all these amazing collaboration features, which is one of the highlights of the software that it runs. So every single program on the XO, the programs are called activities. They're inherently shareable. You can share them as many friends as you want, or as few as you want. And you can see what the other person's doing. You can interact with them. You can collaboratively edit documents together. And so this enables you to go along, edit something together, then show your teacher, show your classmates, take home, show your parents, whatnot. And like I said, it's possible anywhere. So I'll do a bit of a demonstration now, showing this off. So I've got a couple of XOs here. They're sharing a camera application. So if everyone wants to smile, I'll take a photo. And if you can see, that photo is showing up on the laptop next to it. Then, if you excuse me for a moment, I will load up what's called Write, which is a word processing application, activity. And I'll set Write to be shareable on my neighborhood. And then Write becomes active on the mesh neighborhood. So this screen here shows the other laptops that are in the room here. And it shows the shared applications. This is Write, and this is the camera activity that I just used to take a photo collaboratively. So we'll load up Write on this machine. So now they're both running Write. If I type something on here, it'll show up on both the XOs. Maybe I want to share an image. Maybe. Maybe not. What we're showing here is a very in-production version of the software. It's definitely not finished yet, so it's not quite working. But that shows you that you can use both activities. You can both be running the same activity and collaboratively edit a document. For the rest of the presentation, I'll pass around this XO, which is running Write, connected to that one. And so feel free to add some words to the document, and we'll see what comes up at the end. Don't write anything rude, please. Do you understand? Sorry. No, someone have a go? So as I was saying, there's games on here. Favorite one in the office is Tetris. There we go. That's the collaborative editing going on. This XO is sitting at the front of the room, and that one there is sending text to it.
Who was writing on the other laptop? I noticed another sentence flowing on the display. So, it was you? You did it?
I did write on the laptop.
In the same room. What's happening when we have two laptops in different places at a larger distance?
It'll work the same. The sharing is capable of working over wide area networks like the internet as well as local networks in the room.
What's the maximum distance you tested?
So there's a man in Australia who lives on a farm, and in perfect conditions out on his farm, he gets it working up to 2 kilometres just with these tiny antennas, which is pretty impressive.
2 kilometers. Thinking at a Romanian scale, where villages are quite of the same radius, looks interesting, looks fine.
That'd be great.
Yeah, but let's suppose the kids are sharing text, then photos, then applications, which means share activities. The idea of OLPC is to be, all these activities, to be supervised by a teacher or just let kids playing?
It's a very interesting question. I think it depends on your viewpoint. I believe that children should be able to learn amongst themselves without being heavily supervised or censored or told what they're allowed to and what they're not allowed to do. The teacher, if they want, they can always go back and have a look at what the children's been up to. The journal keeps track of their activities, but I believe that the work that the children do on a laptop should stay their own work, and not be told what they're allowed to and what they're allowed to do.
Let's suppose a bad person goes within the range of the mesh network. Are there any security measures in order to block an intruder, who wants to send, to distribute to all the mesh network sex pictures?
So for starters, these laptops are the only one that can do mesh networking. So
someone is stealing one.
Okay, so if someone's stolen a laptop and is posing as another child, the security model doesn't prevent this. As far as I understand, I'm not an expert on the security of the XO. There's 4 other people working who know a lot more about it than I. The security model does depend on the children. The security model depends on the person who owns the laptop using it. So if someone steals someone else's laptop, yes, they are going to be able to impersonate them and send their friends questionable content.
But there are security measures in order to block intruders from any other devices. Yeah,
there's a complex set of procedures that are being developed. It's a new technology that no one's ever implemented before at LPC. They call it Bitfrost, and it's a security mechanism which will stop people who are trying to steal the laptops and use them for malicious purposes before they get to the children from doing so. Yeah.
Good. I'm satisfied for now.
So that's the end of my formal presentation. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask?
Then I'll continue saying that unfortunately we here at Forum IT Camp were not able to arrange and to make possible any bilateral communication because we intended to have duplex during the presentation. But I can let you know and our audience here that we are watching, we are watched by Slovakia, the United States, Ireland, and of course Romania. So I'm so sorry for all of you there that we were not able to assure a duplex. In fact, I still have one technical question. Desktops are known being not mobile, heavy but stronger, each day stronger. Laptops are known being with a low weight, very easy to, very portable. It's the idea, laptop portable. But there is a rumor about the non-implication in developing the platform, the hardware. Are you gonna improve the platform in time or just provide the world with a final version?
The technology, present on here, the software, will be forever evolving. At OLPC, we're putting out new images daily, so new updated versions of the software, and the changes from week to week are huge. And the changes are going to keep coming once the laptops ship. So once the children receive their laptops daily, weekly, monthly, they'll be able to upgrade to newer versions of the software if they choose to. So you won't be stuck running the same software for 5 years, waiting for the next version to come out.
But the hardware will be the same platform for 5 years?
The XOs are designed to last for 5 years. That's not to say that new versions won't come out before the 5 years is up, but when a kid gets given an XO, it's expected that it'll be able to last 5 years before it breaks down, and hopefully longer. And
in 5 years from now, we shall have another version?
Before that, hopefully, but yeah.
Taking into account the evolution of the technology?
Yeah, definitely.
Would we be able to make kids to communicate during these 5 years from a country in South America and Nepal or Nigeria?
I think that would be great, yeah. Children being able to, because they're running the same platform, they're running the same software, their systems are designed to talk together. So there won't be any problems of, that person's using this chat program and this person's using that chat program. They'll all be running the same program, and so they'll all be able to communicate together.
Is OLPC going to offer us a possibility of sharing information with other interested countries in the program? Shall we find in OLPC a partner who's going to offer us the support to have the newest information about the implementation of such a program?
Yeah, the whole collaborative nature of the laptops extends to the way they're designed, the way they're implemented, everything. Almost all the information about the laptops is stored in a wiki, which anyone in the world can read whenever they feel like. And anyone can contribute more information back to that wiki whenever they feel like.
At the beginning of July, Intel Corporation joined the board of OLPC Foundation. Let's say that half of the world is Microsoft-based and the other half, I don't want to enter in any debate, it's open source based. Is it any possibility to have Microsoft software on the hardware platform?
Personally, I haven't seen it. I'm told that...
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen Windows running on here.
Okay.
Personally, I'm happy with Linux. I think it's the best way to use the system. Things like that. Look. Okay. See, if everyone can see the screen blinking out and coming back on, that's the laptop going to sleep, so turning itself off and resuming from sleep. So think about how long it takes your laptop or your desktop to shut down and then start back up again. That's how long this takes. That's one of the advantages that I see in using Linux. But if people do choose to use Windows, I think that the system's capable of running it. So,
any questions from the public? Yeah, we have one.
I was thinking about Windows Microsoft also. So let's say Microsoft partners in learning. We saw the other days the Intel Classmate PC, I think. Okay, so I was thinking about this. They already have something similar, and they have Windows on it. And I think with a 2 gigabyte storage memory, and that would be, I don't know, that's not expensive, I think, from 1 gigabyte to 2 gigabytes, you could have 2 operating systems on it. And especially for Romania, I think it's very good for young people to work with Windows also, not just Linux, because most of the normal people operating systems are Windows, okay? Even if they're XP or Vista. So it would be easier for them when they access a desktop computer, they would be familiarized with Windows also. So wouldn't it be better to have 2 operating systems instead of just 1?
There's many aspects to that question. I could talk about it for hours. So one of them is we're dealing with children with these XOs. They're designed for 5-year-olds to 15-year-olds. That might not be the exact age range, but that's an approximate age range they're designed for. Children, when they haven't been exposed to Microsoft before, will find it, I believe they'll find it a lot easier to learn how to use these other experiences.
I played on that one. For sure, it's a lot easier to use that for start. But after you, I don't know, you get bigger and you try using another computer, like, okay, let's give an example. In the city I'm from, we have a public library and you have internet access, it's free, you have computers, informations, and special software on those computers, free. So they have Windows on them. So when you go from a laptop like this to something Windows based, I think it's kind of weird for a child to do that.
Yeah, that is a problem. The thing I see the issue I have with is saying we should put Windows on laptops and give them to the children. So they're going to learn Windows and they're forever only going to be learning Windows.
No, Windows 2 operating system.
Yeah. And so the other side of that is Windows costs money.
Yes, but they're partners in learning. Wouldn't it be? I think you could convince Microsoft to give Windows free or, I don't know, less expensive for this kind of laptops, because you don't need everything that normal Windows XP offers in generally. So let's think about this. If you will give children Linux, they will get used to it, and Microsoft will be afraid that in 10 or 20 years, they will lose their share of market. So it would be in their own interest to give you Windows.
You have an excellent point. If you want to talk about it for hours later on, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. I love talking about this stuff. But yeah, I don't know enough about what's going on at OLPC to make a comment on that.
Another question.
Yes. First of all, I want to congratulate you for the initiative. And the second one is a little tricky question. What are the real production costs? And if you think ahead of bigger or better laptops for future upgrades.
So yeah, to answer the first part of the question, I heard in an interview that Nicholas Negroponte, the founder of OLPC, did the other day that the costs are going to be about 150 American dollars for the first ones that ship. It's not an exact number, but that's about where the price is at. Obviously that'll go down over time as components get cheaper and we build more and more of them. So yeah, that's what we're looking at starting at. The second part of the question, yeah, definitely. The XO2, many people have already been thinking about it and talking about what it will look like.
I am not really content with the first question. The production costs are, do you have profit with this laptop or it's ONG?
All PCs are not for profit, so no.
No profit.
I remember reading somewhere that the manufacturers, Quanta, were taking $1 from each laptop, so they weren't making much profit at all. For the most part, no one's making a profit on the laptops.
And AMD and manufacturers of the components, why are there? Yes. Why are they so committed?
Yeah, well, this is an interesting point. From what I've been told since I've come to OLPC, about 12 months ago when they were starting to design them, they were trying to find people to offer their services, to offer chips, to offer engineering experience to work on the laptop, and they found it really hard. People thought, that's a crazy idea, that's never going to work. You know, it's too hard, you're solving too great a problem. And as time went by, they managed to get a couple of people on board, and they designed the laptops, and they're about to ship in about a month's time, so it worked. And now there's many more companies who are willing to jump on board and be part of the program. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Okay, so when choosing the operating system, have you taken into consideration Windows CE, for example? Or it was definitely Linux?
I don't know much about the history of when when Microsoft started coming into play. I remember Jim Geddes, one of the guys at LPC, I remember him saying that they've had demo versions for about a year now, trying to get different versions of Windows running on there and whatnot. I don't know what they tried, if they did try CE. From what I know about CE, it would make sense, because yeah, it's a lot lighter weight.
Basically,
yeah, it runs on a phone, exactly, yeah. So it would make sense. I'm not sure if that's where they're headed, or from what I heard, they had XP running on there. So, but I haven't seen it, and
on the other hand, this is not like Windows XP, and that's not like Linux.
Yeah, exactly. It's designed specifically for the target kind of thing. The sugar interface, what you see on the screen, is designed to solve the problem. It's not shoving something else. It's not grabbing Fedora and just chucking it on there. It's custom made for the XO to fully exploit the capabilities of the hardware and whatnot.
Yeah, I have a question. What future plans do you have for the operating system? What happens when the child gets used to the environment and he wants to do more complex stuff, like more complex photo editing or even programming?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the security model only lets applications run individually, and it stops you from being able to edit the system and go down to the guts and modify it too much. But if you are a child or a person who wants to experiment more and play with it more, there's this functionality that we're calling developer keys. So you can contact LPC or contact your teacher or whatever, and then you get sent what's called a developer key, which can be used to sign a USB key or to sign an image that you want to put on there. Once that image is signed, the security system will allow that to be loaded on there. So if you wanted to go and put Ubuntu on it, if you want to put a normal Fedora on there, you can go and do that. If you want to put some crazy other operating system, like Plan 9 runs on there, which is a research operating system. So you can put anything on there if the hardware's unlocked. Yeah.
Okay, tell us something about the shock-proof or maybe waterproof.
I've heard that you can dip the bottom half in water. I don't trust that myself.
Shock-proof, if you...
Oh, so dropping it as well?
Yes.
So Quanta, the manufacturers, they do a series of tests. I think most of them involve having simulating a slope surface and the XO falling off a table.
Can you prove it now?
The only problem might be that my sleep out. I tested it.
I don't know. I have to take these back and they have to be working. So maybe not. I'd like to though. So if I'm allowed to, when I get to the office, I'll record it.
But you guarantee that...
I'll put it on YouTube, okay?
Okay. Thanks.
No worries.
Any other questions? Then the final. Yeah?
I meant to ask this yesterday as well. How much testing did you do on children? I mean, did you have any sort of, with these laptops, did you have any sort of test labs so that you could see how children react to it and how they interact with it? I mean, there are a lot of products that are tested this way. Basically, the client's way of acting and of interacting with the computer is monitored. And did you do that?
I don't know. Just because I'm relatively new to the project, and also my focus is hardware. There have been several trials around the world where schools have been given a set of laptops for a class or for a group of classes, and they'll use them and report it back on the way they went. But I'm not sure if I don't know if usability testing has been done on kids or not. It could have been, but I don't know. Look at the wiki, that might be able to tell you. Wiki.laptop.org.
Yeah, wiki, which is also in Romania, in Romanian. Okay. Our time is almost up. My final question would be, how do you like the camp? How do you like Romania? It's your first visit here. What can you tell to your team colleagues in the United States? Because they were very worried about your arrival.
I was very worried about my arrival. I thought I'd get lost. I'm a long way from home. Romania's been great. Catalan's been great. Everything's been fun so far. Everyone's friendly. And I'm looking forward to my 3 days here. Sorry? Food's good. Food? Oh, the food is amazing. I went out for dinner last night. Very good food.
Okay.
What did we eat?
It's secret. Come to Romania and you'll see what we shall eat this evening. Thank you very much for your presence online and here. 10 minutes break till the next presentation of UPC.